What's up everybody, it's Voltic from No Agony and welcome to another tutorial. This is to master your beats. I recommend you guys go watch my how to mix your beats perfectly or mix your songs perfectly. I really recommend you guys go check that out. You need to mix your beats before you master. Like I said in my video, you don't always have to master your beats, and that's true. Mastering your beats is just adding a top layer, you know, if you want to add some spice to it, if you want to make it just a little bit louder, if you want to add some elements to it as well. Without further ado, I'm not going to waste any more time and let's get into it. So the track I used to master for this video is actually by two of my homies. We have Lucas and Otridge, two really good producers that went on the track. Otridge made the amazing loop, Lucas killed it with the drums. Really nice work with y'all. Shout out to y'all. But anyways, I'll show you my chain. As you can see, it's not that much. You would expect like 3 tracks of me using things. All right, let me tell you right now, every track is different. There's going to be tracks that are poorly mixed and that are just not good leveling wise. It's going to be hard and you're just going to have to literally try everything you got. You're going to have to try every plugin that you have, but luckily Lucas mixed this really well and the leveling was really well. As you can see, transients aren't bad. This is the original. As you can see, there's still peak loudness that we can achieve, and I'm gonna play the track right now on the loudest part. If you're wearing headphones, right off the bat, I can already hear some frequencies that need to be boosted. Not so much in the bass, but really in the treble. I hear some muddiness as well. The top end is fine. I really think the top end and the mid top end's good. I think treble can be boosted. So, and like I said, every track is going to be different. So do not copy what I do. Copy the strategies and copy the techniques and copy the base of what I'm doing. I'm going to explain everything into what I'm thinking and to what I'm doing to the track, you know. Your track may be just totally different. So just keep that in mind. I'm not some guru telling you what to do. Like, I'm just trying to let you know. I'm giving you what to do and how to do it whenever the circumstances. So here we go. First, I started with an EQ. Keep in mind, I'm trying to use mostly stock plugins, but as you can see, I use 3 Ozone 9s. I can give alternatives to this with stock plugins, so don't you worry. First, we have the parametric EQ. Now, what this EQ is doing is that I just am boosting and cutting. Let's not just look at it. Let's look at this. So we're looking at 133 hertz being decreased. That's because 100, I would say in the 100 to the 300 hertz range, it gets like kind of muddy, and so it just doesn't make your beat sound clean at all. We also have treble boosting. 500 to 700 hertz, we have just a little bit of boosting. I also boosted a little bit of the mid highs. So let's just take a listen with the track. Makes it much easier to achieve loudness and without making it sound muddy or bad. So definitely listen to your track, get some headphones on, and also not even just headphones, also listen to this in other areas. You know, I'm listening to this on my monitor speakers in my own room. I'm going to listen to it in my car. I'm going to listen to it on my phone, you know, so that all the frequency ranges are like complete across everything, so it doesn't sound good on one piece, which is really important in mastering. That's what really mastering is all about, is you want to make it sound, you want to have perceived loudness in everything that you own, everything that everybody else owns. That's important. So this is our EQ. Now I put a MAXIMUS, and you're probably thinking, what the hell is MAXIMUS? I've never heard of this. Or you're thinking, you know, I've heard of it, but I don't know what it does. Because I'm gonna be real, I didn't know what it does until a few months ago, and I watched the whole entire video. I'm not gonna explain the whole entire plugin, but what this plugin does is it takes frequencies, it has the power to compress them. It's a multi-band compressor. So what we can do here is we can stereo image each frequency. So it looks like our lows I put here. This little knob right here makes a mono stereo. Left is stereo, right is mono. I recommend for any of your tracks, you need to do mono on your bass, or at least just a little, not all the way, but little mono, because you want your bass to be in the middle of your song or else it'll sound muddy. Not all the time, but most of the time. That's what I did with this track. As you can see, there's a pre-knob. I kind of uppered the bass as well because there's a lot of lacking bass, let's say in the 20 hertz. Let's solo this out and hear just with the bass. That's stereo. This is mono. If you're wearing headphones, you can hear the difference. I recommend you wear headphones for the best experience. So as you can see here, let's look at our imager. Our kicks were the ones being limited. Looks like our bass wasn't really doing anything. The threshold was here around 3 decibels, so it kind of lowered it, which is totally fine, which is good. Did a little bit of compression, which is what we need so we don't clip. Let's go to our mid frequencies. This is our treble and everything else. I did stereo, so I did a little bit of a stereo. Didn't boost anything, didn't do anything. By the way, you can also mess with the compression with the attack release sustain knob. You know, it's totally up to you. Make sure this is on, this little thing. This is our mid frequencies. Let's solo this out. This adds life to our track and makes it really spacious. Our high end, nothing much with this, just a very, very sad mono. You want to do this mostly with your high end, I think, because it would make your sound just a lot more balanced, you know? So let's give it a listen. Already our track's sounding a lot better. They're not my track. The homie Lucas and the homie Ostrich, it's their track. Let's move on. Little MICROSHIFT. This thing is not needed, okay? You know, this thing is just something I threw in there because I thought it sounded really cool and it made the track sound really spacious. So I'll give you a listen to it. What it does is basically it's like a stereo slap delay kind of. Just listen to the difference. Here's without. Here's with. It kind of doubles it, and it's like a doubler for your track, and it honestly sounds really dope. It makes stuff stereo, which is really dope. It makes it sound like the Dolby Vision audio, or you know what I'm talking. It makes it sound like really spacious and really open, which I really enjoy. Okay, next we have the fruity fast distortion. This is the homie that clips or makes that clipping sound and boosts our low end. I have the threshold. Do not put your threshold here. Fast distortion is for bass and saturation, stuff like that. I put the threshold here. Make sure it's all the way to the left so that it doesn't destroy, it doesn't fucking blow your mix. So what I did here is I just messed with the pre knob here. Let's take a listen. That's fast distortion. Now we have Ozone Dynamics. It's not a stock plugin and you don't need it. Let me explain to you what it does, and I'll explain to you an alternative, what else you can do if you want to mess with your dynamics of your track. So what this does, it's basically just a compressor, okay? It's a compressor and limiter. With anything going past a certain threshold, that's when it'll compress. Just like a regular, you know, compressor or even just a limiter. You just need to be careful with this because it can screw up your dynamics. It can improve your dynamics of your track, and you don't always want it in every track. So let's give it a listen with and without. Here's without. So as you can see, here's the limiter's threshold. It's a limiter and a compressor. I put the limiter at 0 decibels. I'm not messing with the actual limiter. I want it so that, you know, it's leveled out. That's kind of just, it limits our sound, just like a regular old limiter. But we have our compressor here. Put the ratio down a little bit to 6:1, and I didn't mess with anything else. This right here is our compressor. You can mess with how sharp it hits, or you know, and that kind of just mess with this over here, so you can see stuff like that. But I have mine around 8 decibels. It doesn't squash the track, but it also gives life to the track and it adds dynamics, which is exactly what we wanted. So it makes it so that the louds hit the loud and the lows. It makes it so that the loud sounds are kind of lowered. When they do hit the threshold, they kind of mesh with the regular level sounding sound, which is confusing. Probably like, what the hell are you talking about? But it's a little hard to explain. But yeah, it makes our loud sounds level with our regular leveled sounds already. So that's that. Alternative to this, if you really want to add dynamics to your track, is really just add a limiter, fruity limiter. This works perfectly fine. It does basically the same thing. You have the ceiling limiter right here, your attack release and sustain limiter, and you also have the compressor right here. You can totally use this. You also have gain, saturator. It's got only need just like Ozone Dynamics, but I like using the Ozone Dynamics because of how many options you have and the ability to compress certain frequencies like multi-band compressor. So that's that. This is the Ozone 9 imager. Now what this does is basically the same thing as we did in Maximus, you know, stereo separation of each frequencies. Nothing big. You also don't really need this. I just wanted to solo them out and get this little vector scope and see everything for each frequency, which this helps a lot. Let me show you what I'm talking about. See this little middle, this is what we need. And then let's look at our mids. Let's look at our highs. Perfect. So yeah, that's the Ozone 9 imager. Like I said, an alternative for this could just be Maximus for you if you want to separate your frequencies just by using this knob. It also works totally fine. It's basically what we did there, but I just wanted to see the vector scope and kind of boost them even more to get more stereo separation. So last but not least is our Ozone 9 maximizer. Now, this is something that is important because this is like the bare bones to your track. You don't always have to make your track sound louder if it doesn't need to sound louder. Let me say that again. You don't always need to have your track louder if it doesn't need to be louder, because if it doesn't, don't mess with it, because that means that you're achieving that perceived loudness. There's some tracks that don't. So let's take a look at the track and let's see where it's hitting and see what we can boost. So there we have it. So these little modes right here, if you have Ozone 9, these are what the modes do. Basically, it just changes the rich sounds. You can see it tells you how hard it's limiting. So it tells you, look, it says rich sound. You hover over it, you see it says clear and sharp limiting to preserve peak. So it just messes with the what the threshold does and what the compression does. So this is how to master your track. There's a lot of things that could be missing. It's really just by ear. You have to play it by ear if you want to master someone's song, someone else's track. If you want to add Soothe to this plugin, you know, not a lot of people have it, but it can definitely help with disgusting frequency. So you can definitely add that. It takes out the resonant frequencies. It's a really nice plugin. But that basically sums it up, y'all. I'm gonna be playing it before and after at the end of the video. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This was made with the No Agony loop, which you can already tell is just so fire. Oatridge just killed it. Oatridge killed this loop, I ain't gonna lie. No Agony sends weekly loops every Friday. Just y'all can go check that out because we have really talented loop makers and producers. Y'all should go just get those packs because it's just fire, honestly. Speed up your workflow when making beats. That's it for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys found this video helpful. Please comment down below whatever I'm missing or what you want next. Comment down below anything that I'm missing or what you want next on the No Agony tutorial. What do you want to see? What do you want to hear? Just let us know. We reply to comments. So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, let us know because we found to answer you. No Agony sends weekly loops every Friday. So go check us out because, you know, we have really talented loop makers that make really bomb loops like this one, like Oatridge. Shouts out to the homie Oatridge. So thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.